As a new franchisor, it's going to be important for you to understand the costs associated with franchising your business. Franchising is a low-cost means of expanding your business, but it is not a no-cost means of expanding your business. Oftentimes you can get into franchising for less than the cost of opening one more company-owned and operated facility. But it's important to understand what those costs are going to be. Now, at a minimum, you're going to have costs involved in developing legal documents and potentially registering those legal documents in certain registration states. You're going to need to develop an operations manual that's going to systemize your quality control and tell franchisees how to run this business. Beyond that, you're going to have costs associated with franchise marketing. You're going to have costs associated with franchise sales activities. You're going to have costs associated with strategic planning. So the costs that you're going to incur oftentimes are going to be a function of really how aggressively you're looking to expand. We typically break the costs that you're going to have as a new franchisor down into 5 buckets. The first bucket is going to be the development work. That's the kind of thing that you do with a company like the iFranchise Group, where you're going to develop things like the operations manuals, the basic strategies, the business plan, the financial analysis, the quality control tools, the marketing materials, the marketing strategies, and make sure that your organization is prepared for franchising. The costs that you'll incur with a consulting firm like ours are going to vary based on how much of the work you can do yourself, based on how much of the work you've done already, and based on how aggressively you're looking to grow. It could be as little as $30,000, $40,000, or even less if all you need is an operations manual. But it could also be $100,000, $150,000 or more if you're looking for a really aggressive expansion program. So it pays to spend some time consulting with a company that can tell you the various different alternatives that you got for growth, how fast you can grow. Don't go in for a packaged approach. Go for something that's going to tell you exactly what your specific needs are going to be. Now, the second thing that you're going to need to have is going to be legal costs. A good franchise consultant is going to make sure that you're represented by competent franchise counsel and somebody that has some significant experience. And the legal costs are going to depend on whether you like working with smaller firms or whether you like working with larger firms. It's going to depend on whether or not you're looking for a specialty consultant that maybe has expertise in medical or has expertise in food. A good budget number to use is around $25,000. You might find that some firms are more expensive than that and some are less expensive than that. But as a budgetary number, maybe $25,000 is a good middle of the road budget number. And again, that number can go substantially lower if you're working with solo practitioners, and it can be higher than that if you want to work with some of the bigger name franchise law firms that are out there. The third cost bucket that you're going to have as a new franchisor is going to be the costs associated with franchise marketing. Now, these numbers change from year to year, and today the numbers sort of range in between $8,000 and $10,000 per franchise sale. Those numbers can go up or down a little bit, but essentially what you need to do to figure out your franchise marketing budget is to figure out how many franchises do you want to sell in the coming year, and understand that the numbers that you're going to sell in that year are going to be a function of first filling the pipeline. So typically what happens is you're going to, if you wanted to sell at a rate of 1 per month, you might spend $10,000 in January, $10,000 in February, $10,000 in March in order to budget for your franchise marketing activities. What you want to do is you want to start by taking a look at how many franchises are you looking to sell in a given period of time. Typically we look at a year. Now, the time frame that it takes to sell a franchise averages about 12 weeks. So if you're going to budget at the high end of that range, $10,000 per franchise sale, or at the low end of the range, $8,000 per sale, you're going to spend between $8,000 and $10,000 per month. And you're going to need to get, on average, about 12 weeks worth of marketing done before you're going to sell that first franchise. Now, in order to be conservative, we normally tell you that what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have at least 6 months worth of working capital. So you'd spend $8,000 in January, $8,000 in February, $8,000 in March, April, May, June. And then in June, you'd probably sell that first franchise, and at least that would be the plan relative to the franchise marketing allocation. So essentially take your first year's franchise marketing budget and divide by 2. And that will give you the number that you're going to need relative to your marketing. The more aggressively you're looking to sell, the more money you're going to need for your franchise marketing budget. The fourth bucket that you're going to have involves some miscellaneous costs. And those costs are going to be things like creating a new corporation, developing letterheads, stationery, getting new phone lines, business cards, printing of brochures, duplicating franchise sales videos or DVDs, and other kinds of costs like travel. Those costs typically are going to run somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000, depending on how many franchises you're looking to sell, how many brochures you print, how many videos you duplicate, etc. So figure $10,000 to $25,000 generally speaking. And then the last cost that you're going to have as a new franchisor is people, personnel. For most new franchisors start with their existing staff, and they will then use that staff and leverage off that staff to get themselves into franchising, and then build staff underneath their royalty stream. So as they begin to develop royalties, they then add staff underneath that royalty stream and grow in that way. If you're looking to grow more aggressively, of course, you may need to add people. And this is really where the strategic planning process comes in. One of the things that we recommend that you do as a part of your franchise planning process is to develop a staffing plan. Understand who you're going to hire, when you're going to hire them, what you're going to pay them. And that will allow you to better budget for your franchise launch when you first get started in franchising. We're happy to help companies when they're first getting started in franchising to better understand these costs. And one of the ways that you can do that is you can take a look at a free DVD that we offer on how to franchise your business. You can get that DVD by going to www.ifranchisegroup.com or calling us at 708-957-2300, and we'd be happy to send you a copy of that free DVD.